When I was young, I was always writing stories in the back of exercise books, and I certainly did a lot of theatre, mostly ballet, dancing, but also I like to get up on the table and be somebody. So even though that wasn't actually writing it down, it was being somebody else. So I learnt to think about characters. And when I grew up, of course, I was a dancer for a while, and then my mother said that isn't the right job to have, you need to have a real job. And so I went to Teachers College and became a teacher. And finally I had a college myself where I taught childcare and education. And that led to me understanding about child abuse, domestic violence, how other people think and feel, and trying to get my message across to an audience of students. And I think that all led to the writing. I love words, and I think my brain's connected to my fingers, and I have to write those words down. And it might be from a shopping list right up to stories, because I'm passionate about stories. A few years ago, there were lots of stories in the news about people going missing, and I thought, what if? That's sort of the premise that I start with. And so I invented a character called Lily, and I thought, what if she couldn't find her daughter? What if there was something wrong, which ended up being domestic violence? What if she tried to rescue her and did? What if in that rescue it led to consequences, and those consequences were pretty dreadful? Sometimes it's the little things, like you're trying to find that right word that would just make that sentence wonderful. I tend to mull over it all night, and in the middle of the night I get these good ideas, so I have to write it down. And of course my husband says, what are you doing with the light on at this time of night? But there are big things too, and it's like trying to find a way to get your heroine or hero alive, because once you love them, they actually start writing for themselves. So it's just finding that way to really love your characters. You need quiet sometimes, and you might not have that always. So the middle of the night is always a good time. And of course I've written things in the middle of the night and thinking it's great, but by morning when I read it again I don't like it and I have to do it all over again. So that can happen too. I think you have to put yourself in somebody's shoes. That would be the first thing. I think just looking around you and just noticing everything that's happening around you, because that's where you find all your characters and your situations. They're in the world around you. I read mostly fiction, although I'll read anything. I'll read the signs on the side of a building, but fiction is my interest. And the genre I really like is crime, but today I think you mix them up a bit more than you used to. So I like to have romance in my crime. I think my passion for stories has allowed me, now that I'm retired from full-time working life, to actually get them down on paper and feel good and satisfied about what I'm writing. So it's a very nice feeling, and I love it. Writing things for yourself is the first thing that you need to do. But in the end, you want to share that with other people, so you have to have it published so you can share it. So that's my real interest now, in making sure that I can get stories out and share them. As I reached my hand to the key slot in the driver's door, I was grabbed from behind. My scream was cut off into a gargle by a hand covering and sinking into my mouth, and a strong male body crushed me against the side of the door, with the key and handle biting into my middle. For a moment I was so scared that I couldn't resist. Then anger overcame me. What was I doing, letting a villain grab me? I'd been to self-defense lessons and talks on what to do if you're assaulted. I had to fight back.